While the stock market gets a lot of attention, Canada's housing market gets even bigger buzz. High prices at a time of record population makes it a constant topic of discussion for Canadians. We reported on some new data out for May this morning, which showed some weakness for both prices and home sales. Of course, there was a view that many in the market were waiting to see what the Bank of Canada would do. And earlier this month, it cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years. Real estate player Royal LePage has put together its own outlook. And the president and CEO, Phil Soper, joins us with more on the findings. Nice to see you.
Good to be back.
Okay, so the data from the industry today, broadly speaking, told us last month, weaker sales, weaker prices. Yeah. Does that align with what you had been seeing?
Yeah, I think it's important to note that that's May data. The bank rate cut came June 5th.
Yeah.
So it doesn't include the impact of the bank rate. But I can tell you, the first couple of weeks of June, we haven't seen a surge in activity. There's been an uptick, but not a surge. It's slower than many in the industry would have thought it was in terms of the number of homes trading hands. Prices are flat, they're holding up, but the number of transactions is quite a bit lower than we anticipated.
I mean, a 25 basis point cut by the Bank of Canada is a notable pivot, but considering how quickly interest rates rose, the math doesn't necessarily change things that dramatically, I would think, for people who are on the sidelines.
There's the psychological crowd, the crowd that wonders where things are going, uncertainty keeps them pushed to the side, and the structural crowd, those who can't get approval for the mortgage they need for the home they think they need. So structurally, it was helpful, but only a little bit. Psychologically, my guess is that the tipping point has been reached, and we'll see prices continue to accelerate in the second half of the year, but it'll be interesting if those volumes catch up.
I mean, I get to talk to a lot of economists who spend their entire work week thinking about where interest rates go. I would say, anecdotally, I would say a majority of them anticipate the Bank of Canada continuing to cut interest rates. So I guess for those who are on the sidelines, because they were waiting for a change in policy, maybe more people come into the market. But I guess, what are the other dynamics that you're watching closely to determine this housing story?
Well, the first thing, the country isn't Toronto and Vancouver.
Yeah.
So Toronto and Vancouver are slow. The rest of Calgary's up and prices are up. Montreal's flat in volume, up in price. Halifax up. So our most expensive markets, as you might anticipate, are the ones that are feeling this the most. And there's a difference between the condominium market and the market for detached homes on the residential side of the business. And we're seeing, continue to see multiple offers, even in Toronto, the slowest market in the country, on a detached home.
Yeah. Do you think it's fair to say, though, that because of the not a technical term, but the insanity, for example, that we saw in markets like Toronto and Vancouver, that there was a byproduct from that people would actually quite literally look to other places to live, and then that subsequently actually lifted the home markets in other pockets of the country?
We're still paying the piper for the irrational rise in property values that occurred during the pandemic that pushed right through to the spring of 2022. So it's only been a couple of years. That said, I would anticipate, we haven't had a 2-year plus period this century where home prices have been flat or slightly declining. You know, we had a little dip in 2008 at the end. It lasted 6 months. This is 2 solid years of flat or declining home prices. So it has given the market time to catch up. And, you know, we saw a report out last week from StatsCan that said household wealth is at its highest level ever.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Warren Buffett always says this saying about chill out if a stock's going down. He's like, this is great. It's on sale. I'm buying these things for the long term. I guess some people move in and out of housing pretty quickly, but let's hope most people, if they're looking at a home, they're looking at it as something that they're committing to over the long term. I thought it was always interesting that we were going to wait and see the first few weeks of activity after a rate cut, when the other conversation we've been having for years, to your earlier point, it's so gosh darn expensive to own a home, and that creates so many complications for our country. Maybe if things are looking relatively measured so far, that isn't necessarily a bad thing over the long term.
I agree. It's not like homeowners, 2/3 of Canadians are losing value. It's just this last 25 years, they're used to double-digit returns, which is on the equity of their home, which is not sustainable over a long time because wages and salaries don't rise at double digits. So no, it's not unhealthy, and the momentum has clearly shifted. We are seeing prices rising.
So let me ask you about the supply solution, right? Gets thrown to government a lot, people talk, blah, 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 blah. But even like the irony of having higher interest rates meant that builders, in many ways,
pulled back.
They pulled back.
Yes.
Because, you know, they
borrow too.
They borrow too. They
Yep.
got to figure out who's going to be buying. They got to figure the math hasn't worked for them. So since this supply situation doesn't seem like it's going to go away anytime soon,
No.
Any suggestions on practically that you think make sense for Canada?
It's such a big challenge. It's right up there with, with healthcare, education. It's multi-pronged. It's legislative. It's social changes, that missing middle. We need more density in our cities. And I think we need to adopt different construction methods. We're still building homes the same way we did a century ago. I've seen some incredible new technologies in 3D printing of homes, like giant scale, rapid, environmentally sensitive home construction going on in California right now and Texas.
Yeah.
So I think all these things have to happen. The good news is all levels of government realize it's a crisis.
Yeah. Well, yeah, people are knocking on their door to get it fixed.
Exactly.
But cutting, it sounds like maybe using technology to cut through some of the red tape is not a bad idea.
Absolutely. And the cost of a home, for example, in Toronto, for the last 5 years to build has gone up 110%. So,
Wow.
That is going to get passed on. We have to look at ways to reduce the cost for our builders and incent them to take on additional risk.
All right. Well, always